the company that changed how the world watches? In the last episode, Netflix walked out of Blockbuster's headquarters with nothing. No deal, no partnership, no rescue, just a small team, running out of money and running out of time. Blockbuster believed it had won. After all, it owned thousands of stores, millions of loyal customers, and one of the most recognized brands in America. Netflix, on the other hand, was still mailing DVDs in red envelopes. From the outside, the battle looked completely one-sided, but history has a way of hiding its biggest turning points, because while Blockbuster was protecting the business that had made it successful, Netflix was quietly building the business that would replace it, not just for Blockbuster, but for the entire entertainment industry. This is the story of how one company adapted while the other stood still. After leaving Blockbuster's headquarters, Reed Hastings didn't return with good news. The company had been rejected. Its best chance at a lifeline was gone. For many startups, that would have been the end. But for Netflix, it became a turning point. Instead of trying to become another Blockbuster, Netflix focused on becoming better at the one thing Blockbuster couldn't easily copy: convenience. The team asked a simple question: what frustrates people most about renting movies? The answers were surprisingly clear: driving to the store, finding the movie already rented out, returning it before the deadline, and of course, late fees. For years, late fees had quietly become one of Blockbuster's biggest sources of profit. Customers hated them, but they kept paying. Netflix saw an opportunity. What if renting movies felt effortless? What if there were no due dates, no late fees, and no stressful trip back to the store? That idea became Netflix's greatest weapon. Instead of charging customers for every movie, Netflix introduced a monthly subscription. Pay one price, keep movies as long as you wanted. When you finished watching, drop the DVD into a prepaid envelope. The next movie on your list would already be on its way. It sounds normal today, but in the early 2000s, this was revolutionary. Netflix wasn't simply renting movies, it was changing customer expectations. And once people's expectations change, it's incredibly difficult to make them go backwards. But Netflix had another advantage, one that most people rarely talk about. While Blockbuster wanted customers to walk through its stores, Netflix wanted customers to stay at home. Every movie someone rated, every DVD they returned, every choice they made helped Netflix understand what they enjoyed watching. The company developed a recommendation system called Cinematch. Instead of showing everyone the same popular films, Netflix began recommending movies based on each person's taste. Long before social media algorithms, Netflix was already learning what people liked. The experience felt personal. The more people used Netflix, the smarter it became. Blockbuster had thousands of shelves. Netflix had data. And over time, that difference became more valuable than anyone imagined. If you're enjoying uncovering the real stories behind the world's biggest companies, consider subscribing to SZN World. Every documentary on this channel explores the decisions, risks, and turning points that change industries. At first, Blockbuster wasn't worried. Why would it be? Customers still walked into its stores every day. Families still rented movies every weekend. The numbers looked healthy. But underneath those numbers, something had quietly begun to change. Netflix wasn't stealing customers overnight. It was changing their habits, one subscriber at a time, one red envelope at a time, one recommendation at a time. Then, the warning signs became impossible to ignore. Netflix kept growing. Subscribers kept increasing, and more people were discovering that renting movies without leaving home was simply easier. Blockbuster finally responded. It launched its own DVD by mail service. From the outside, it looked like the perfect answer. The giant had copied the startup. Surely the battle was over, but there was one problem. Blockbuster wasn't building something new. It was trying to protect something old. Its thousands of physical stores, once its greatest strength, had become an enormous burden. Every store had rents, employees, utilities, inventory, maintenance. Netflix didn't carry that weight. It could focus almost entirely on improving the customer experience. Then came an even bigger decision. To compete with Netflix, Blockbuster eliminated late fees. Customers celebrated, but investors didn't. Those late fees had generated hundreds of millions of dollars over the years. Removing them made customers happier, but it also removed one of the company's most profitable revenue streams. Ironically, the very feature customers love most about Netflix forced Blockbuster to weaken its own business model. The company had finally started changing. But by then, Netflix wasn't standing still anymore. It was already preparing for something even bigger. While Blockbuster was fighting yesterday's battle, Netflix had already started building tomorrow. By the mid-2000s, the internet was changing again. Broadband connections were replacing slow dial-up. Videos loaded faster. Computers became more powerful. People were spending more time online than ever before. To most companies, DVDs still looked like the future. But Reed Hastings saw something different. He believed DVDs were only a bridge. The real destination was streaming. It sounded almost impossible. Internet speeds were still limited. Many people doubted anyone would want to watch a full movie online. The technology wasn't perfect. The business model was unproven, and the costs were enormous. Yet Netflix made another bold decision. In 2007, it introduced streaming, allowing subscribers to watch selected movies and TV shows instantly over the internet. No waiting, no envelopes, no return mail, just press play. At first, the library was small. The video quality wasn't what we expect today, and many people still preferred DVDs. But Netflix wasn't building for 2007, it was building for the next decade. That decision changed everything, because from that moment on, Netflix stopped competing with video rental stores. It started competing for the future of entertainment itself. If you've made it this far, thank you. These documentaries take time and research to create, and your support helps keep them coming. If you're enjoying the journey, consider subscribing to SZN World. Leave a like if you've learned something new, and share this story with someone who still remembers Friday nights at the video store. Now, back to the story. As streaming gained momentum, Blockbuster found itself trapped. Its business had been built around thousands of physical stores. Those stores had once been its greatest competitive advantage. Now, they had become its greatest expense. Customers were visiting less often, rental income declined, late fees, once a major source of profit, had already been reduced. Debt continued to grow. Leadership changed. Strategies changed. But one thing never changed fast enough. The world. Netflix kept improving. Broadband internet spread across more homes. Smart TVs arrived. Game consoles added streaming apps. Watching a movie no longer meant driving to a store. It meant opening an app. In September 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. For millions of people, it was the end of an era. One by one, these stores closed. The bright blue signs disappeared. The shelves that had once introduced families to their favorite films stood empty. Today, only one officially licensed Blockbuster store remains. Located in Bend, Oregon, it serves as both a working store and a living museum, a reminder of a company that once seemed too big to fail. It's easy to look back and say, Blockbuster should have seen it coming. But history is rarely that simple. Blockbuster wasn't destroyed because it lacked smart people. It wasn't destroyed because people suddenly stopped loving movies. It struggled because it was built for a world that was changing faster than it could adapt. Netflix, on the other hand, never assumed its success would last forever. It questioned its own business before someone else could. It moved from DVDs to streaming, from streaming to producing original films and series, and eventually, it became one of the world's largest entertainment companies, reaching audiences in countries across the globe. The lesson isn't that the biggest company always loses. The lesson is that yesterday's success doesn't guarantee tomorrow's survival. Sometimes the greatest risks is believing that what works today will always work tomorrow. The decision Blockbuster rejected in 2000 was worth around $50 million. Today, Netflix is worth hundreds of billions in market value over its history and has transformed how the world watches entertainment. That missed opportunity has become one of the most famous what-if moments in business history. And perhaps that's why this story continues to matter. Because it isn't really about DVDs, or streaming, or even movies. It's about seeing change before everyone else does. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to SZN World. Every episode uncovers the real stories behind the companies, technologies, and decisions that shaped our world. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring history, and remember, sometimes The biggest moments in history begin with a decision that almost everyone ignored.